My creepy encounter with a psychopath. This story happened only a couple years ago when I was just being able to find a new job. Let me tell you that, it was really hard for me at the time to find a job, mainly because I was just now getting out of college. At the time, I was pretty much just broke and didn't have enough money to actually buy a house, so I had to live with my parents for a while, and so I could be able to get a job and get a new house to live in. It wasn't at all that bad, and I seemed to be just doing just fine. And I found a job that was really good. The only problem about it was that it was a couple miles away. 2 miles away, in fact, which means I would have to take the bus. Let me tell you, I did not like taking the bus sometimes, mainly because there will always be this same weird guy that would get on the bus. I swear to you, it was like this guy was just following me or being a stalker. Mainly because at first it wasn't really anything. We would just get on the bus, maybe talk sometime, and just, do our separate ways when it was time to get off. But at some point during the week, it started to get really creepy when I started talking to this guy. Sometimes he would ask me questions like, "Where do you live?" And also, "How long do you think us people live? Do you think you're gonna die a horrible death? Or do you think you're gonna die just a regular death sometimes?" These questions really started to put me on edge a little, and I just didn't want to trust the guy, man, because I'm meeting this guy just now. I hardly even know this guy, and this guy's asking me questions like that. It started to really put me on edge. So I just pretty much just wanted to stop going on that same bus, so I wouldn't have to deal with problems like that. I swear to you, it was like that guy was just following me sometimes. It was like he would be in some place or another, just watching me. At first I just thought it was just a coincidence and he just had to go to the same place too. But I realized every time I would get off that bus, he would get off and follow me any place that I went to. I would just randomly think, well, maybe he just has to get off the stop too. Maybe this is where he lives. But I realized every time I did get off, he would follow me. And it just didn't make any sense. Because whenever I went into any stores, he never brought anything. And would just follow me out. And I would just pretend that I did not see him. But I did. This was getting really creepy to the point where I just did not want to just not go on the bus anymore. It was just really creeping me out. The fact that this guy was following me around. Until one scary night, my whole perspective of this guy turned from creepy to horrifying. I was on the bus one night, trying to get home from work. And the same guy was on the freaking bus that time, but he didn't do anything. At least not at first. Stuff started to get really extremely intense when he walked up to me and sat next to me, staring at me the whole time. I whited. It was creepy. It got really more disturbing when he started smiling very wide at me. I just wanted to get off that bus and be done with the night, and I pretty much just swore to myself, I am not getting back on this bus ever again. Now you think that would be the end of it, but it isn't. This guy, when I get off the bus to walk home, it's creepy. It gets even more horrible. This guy gets off the bus and literally calls my name. I turn around slowly. I'm just shaking with fear. Mainly because this guy is creeping me out. And it started to give me a huge headache. I turn around, and this guy, he full blunt charges at me with a freaking pocket knife. This guy tries to hit me multiple times, and I pretty much just get out of the way before he can do anything to me. I take off, and he takes off after me, screaming, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you." Over and over while I'm running. I hit corners and trying to lose this guy. And I don't want to lead him to my house, mainly because that's how this freak would know where I live. I don't want to have my parents in danger, mainly because I have to move in 2 weeks. What if that guy comes back still believing that I live there, breaks in, and hurts my parents, or even worse? I lost him going in the alleyway, pretty much in front of a whole bunch of homeless people, losing him in the crowd. He doesn't know where I went, and I never went on that bus again. I quit my job and got a different job entirely. I pretty much moved from my parents' home now. I can only hope that he only did lose me though. I can only hope. Mainly because I'm not really sure if I did lose him, to be honest with you. It was like he just disappeared by himself. But all I know is that I hope the safety of my parents are very much well reeled. Creepy guy that I met on that bus who literally tried to kill me. Let's not ever meet again. Psychopath threatens to kill me. This story happened only literally 4 days ago. It still shakes me to my core just by thinking about it, even though I haven't been harmed. But it still scares me that I almost died. The fact that this creep really tried to kill me, I really just, this is not something you can really get over. Well, let me tell you the story of how I almost got killed by a psychopath. This story happened, like I said, 4 days ago, and I was just now being able to get a car so I wouldn't have to take a bus, mainly because I just hated taking the bus. Every time I took the bus, there was always something freaking ridiculous going on, like some crazy angry guy getting on the bus screaming, or even doing some stupid stuff like freaking throwing their stuff at the driver. I swear to you, this bus was the most annoyingest ride I've ever taken. I tell you, some stupid people really got on that bus and just did some stupid things that just really made no sense at all. But I just hated going on that bus mainly because of this one weird guy though. I mean, he was nice, but kind of creepy at the same time. And I just never really just liked it. I always had this feeling about this guy. I just didn't trust him most of the time, mainly because it was like he knew too much about me that I never did tell him. And I would just think, maybe it's a coincidence, maybe he experienced the same thing in life from the way he was saying it. But at the same time, it's like he's described every detail, literally, of it. It was the weirdest thing. I finally had gotten my car that same week and stopped going on that bus. But my car had broke down and needed repairs. They said they would repair it in 2 weeks, which means I would have to take the bus again. I swear to you, it was like just the most annoyingest time of my life. I tell you, that taking the bus, I felt dreadful about it. Just seeing that one guy again. I didn't want to see him because he freaking freaked me out. I swear to you, when I got back on that bus and started seeing him again, I just wanted to leap out of the bus and just freaking walk the rest of the way to my destination. But I didn't. I wish I did, but I just didn't. I sat in the back seat where, there's back seats in the back of the bus where you pretty much could just sit by yourself if you wanted to. I sat back there, wanting to just be by myself. I tell you, immediately when I sit, this guy gets up from his seat and sits next to me, trying to start some small talk, asking me, "It's been a while, haven't seen you around." The usual okay thing I guess you say to somebody for not seeing them for a while. I really began to not really think that this guy was maybe creepy at all. I decided to give him a chance and ask him, "Well, how have you been doing?" He says, "Oh, I've been doing just fine. I've just been wondering, where have you been? Did you get that car that you always wanted?" I said, "Yeah, merely because, don't think this is creepy, but I actually told him that I was actually getting a car soon enough to take the bus because the bus takes too long to get to my freaking destination. So I didn't find this weird at all." But what he says next is, I just don't know. It was weird to begin with, and just made no sense to how he even knew. He told me the color of my car was red. It didn't make any sense to how he knew that, because I never told him that I was getting a red car. I never told him that my car was red. I didn't know how he even knew that to begin with, and it was freaking creepy. I asked him, "How did you know my car was red?" And he said, "Oh, sometimes when I'm on the bus, I sometimes see your car drive by, and how I pretty much know it's your car, I can kind of see you in the driver's seat. So then I just think, okay, maybe that was the reason." But what he says next makes me completely just want to get out of the freaking bus and just run away. He says, "I love that the way your car is red, mainly because it resembles of your blood when it leaks from your body, as I practically stab you to death." At this point, I am freaking out and just literally get up and start freaking running away, and I just get out of the freaking bus and tells him to stop. I say, "I gotta get out the bus. This is my stop right here." He says, "Don't you usually stop at the same place that you usually do?" Mainly because I have a job that I still go to, and I still go to this day. I tell him, "Well, this is just gonna need to be an early stop, mainly because that guy in the back is freaking me out." I get off the bus because he lets me out, and I start walking away. I turned back to that bus one last time, and I see him holding a freaking big butcher knife. He literally throws it through the window, and it nearly hits me. I start running, screaming, and just runs home. This guy was obviously crazy. I get home, and well, I never took the bus again. I just started using my parents' car because I had told them about the whole creepy ordeal. I didn't call the cops or anything, mainly because I just didn't want to go through all of that. Mainly because I just didn't want to deal with it. I never saw that guy again, and I'm just happy that I didn't. I never got back on that bus ever again. Creepy guy that threatened to kill me and pretty much threw a knife out the window to hit me. Let's not ever meet again. Disturbing guy on the bus. This happened literally yesterday. Well, I'm gonna make this story pretty quick and short for you guys, mainly because I just don't want this to be too long. Some of these stories I've seen really are freaky and remind me of the time that I've dealt with an actual creepy serial killer. I swear to you, it was like, it felt so surreal. The freaking meet a serial killer in real life, most creepiest thing I ever had to deal with. I was on the bus one day, trying to get home, and there was this weird, strange guy, literally, just licking a knife in the back of the seat, trying to cover himself doing it. I tapped on the shoulder one time, and he looked at me crazily. His eyes were wide, and they were red, and I swear to you, there was a blood stain, literally on his hands. I asked him, "Are you okay, sir? Did you hurt yourself?" He just looks at me wide-eyed and says, "No, this isn't my blood. But if you don't leave me alone, some of your blood might be on my hands too." This freaking creeped me out to the point where I was just scared. I pretty much moved seats just to get away from the guy. When the next stop, I stopped at my house just to get back inside. And I just called the cops. The cops found the guy. Well, it turns out he was a serial killer. This guy has killed multiple people over the past 20 months. The fact that I encountered a serial killer to this day still freaks me out. Creepy guy that I met on the bus, who's a serial killer? Let's not ever meet again.